This is Robert Kraft, and I am your host for SNN Network. And we are a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit, Beaver Creek, now going virtual this year. And joining me right now is Kyle Floyd. He is the chairman and CEO of Vox Royalty. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is VOX on the TSX Venture. Kyle, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Thanks, Robert. Great. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure, and I hope to hit the rinks with you one day. You know, with your the hockey jersey behind you. I love it.
Yeah, that's actually from ball hockey, but one day when we can actually skate indoors, I'm all for it.
And I just realized I said hit the rinks. I feel like I must be the most hockey noob for ever saying that, and we're gonna keep that in this interview. So, so with that, let's get a quick overview and history of the company, and then we'll go from there.
That sounds good. Well, Robert, I founded the company in 2014, and we set about building a company really underpinned by a few fundamental tenets that we believe separate Vox now. And it certainly took a few years to build into it. But what we realized is that we need to build a company that had competitive advantages, not just at that point in time, but also going forward into the future when the space was inevitably going to get more competitive because of the outperformance of royalty companies generally versus most commodity-based benchmarks. And so we founded this business with the intent of acquiring intellectual property, a very significant technical team, and then deal sourcing networks around the world that were going to give us an ability to be in front of more royalty opportunities and find better value for our investors. And we've done that, and we're starting to see the fruits of those efforts paying off, and that Vox has been the fastest growing royalty company in the entire world over the last 18 months.
You know, it's interesting because I remember back in that 2014, 2015 range when metals prices were much more depressed than they are right now.
Right.
And speaking with, the Brent Cooks of the world and some other, very well-known speakers and people that follow the industry. And they said, royalty companies is, something that's kind of interesting right now because there's a lot of, the for lack of a better term, crap that's going to be going out of business and or just won't be able to finance some better projects down the line,
right?
Especially once everything turns. So I say all this to preface my next question. How has Vox been able to separate itself from your peers out there and starting in that time range? I mean, you must have had some different types of criteria you were looking for to bring in new stuff into the portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, we started out really in 2014 as a financing mechanism for mining companies. And one of the things that I think really separates Vox from a lot of the new entrants is we've had the benefit, frankly, of going from an up cycle to a down cycle, and now we're back into an up cycle in the commodities, especially precious metals. And when we started out financing mining companies, we believe there's kind of a negative selection bias to it when we looked back over that 2 years of being in that depressed cycle. And we went about looking at how can we really separate our business now and looking forward. And one of the ways was buying third-party royalties and positioning ourselves to really look at asset quality first and foremost. Fall in love with the asset, make sure that that is what you want it to be. Then look at the royalty agreement sitting over the top of that, because not all royalty deeds are created equal. And then combine those two factors along with finding the parties that we can transact at accretive value for our shareholders. And we've been able to do that. And so really unlocking what our strategy was going back many years now, looking forward, and combining that with an ability to bring an entire technical team to the table and a team that's very experienced in royalties has allowed us to really tap into the royalty markets with unprecedented growth. But it took many years of building to this point and bringing the right team together with the right intellectual property to complement that, to be able to accomplish what we've accomplished. And what we like to say is we're at the tip of the iceberg for what we've built and what we've set the stage for. And so this unprecedented level of growth is really set to continue for us.
Very good. And what's your background? I mean, what were you doing prior to founding this company back in 2014?
Yeah, I was spearheading the mining investment banking division for investment bank, and really had been working closely with investors and looking for a way to unlock value for investors that had been somewhat disenfranchised by investing broadly into the miners and the lack of performance that the miners had generated looking back and basing that around benchmarks. And so was really tasked with setting up a business and a company and opportunity that had better risk-adjusted returns. And certainly the royalty space by and large has delivered that. And I think Vox is really set to set a significant pace for our investors in terms of accretive growth and share price appreciation as well.
So then from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now moving forward for the rest of this year going into 2021?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we've gone out to the markets and really, I think, put out there in terms of what they can expect from Vox is growth and growth at great value, and really what we call organic growth within our portfolio. And so we've said we'll essentially bring in a new royalty every single month, which is, I don't think that's been done ever in the royalty space in terms of executing, a transaction that brings in a royalty at that level. And so over the last 18 months, we've brought in 37 royalties across 16 transactions. That's unprecedented growth. We'll always have that growth. What's separating us right now is that it's growth at great value. We're finding opportunities around the world that when you look at the asset as it stands now, we're buying at great value, but using our technical team at the forefront, we're finding royalties that have immense upside in the very near future. And so we're starting to see that. And so the catalysts for Vox are, one, just our growth as we continue to grow faster than anybody else in the industry at great value. But then to complement that, the assets that we've already brought into our portfolio are really ramping from development stage into production. Just today, even Karora, formerly known as RNC Minerals, announced that one of the royalties we bought over the last couple months is now in production. We didn't expect for that to happen until the end of next year. And so that's really more than a year ahead of schedule. We purchased a royalty from RTG over Thor's asset in Africa that they've just confirmed that they'll have their first gold pour next year. And then we have 2 other production stage assets. So we're going right now from about 2 production stage assets to potentially north of 5 production stage assets by mid next year. And those producing stage assets mean that the cash flow profile of our business is going to significantly increase. And so for an investor, you've got great growth at great value with significant near-term catalysts and exponential growth in all of those categories that I think makes Vox a really compelling and interesting story.
Well, with that, where can my audience go and find everything they need to know about Vox Royalty?
You can obviously go to the website, voxroyalty.com, and feel free to get in touch. We're very interactive on our social media pages as well, and always willing to engage and answer questions and be available to our investors.
Well, with that, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Stay safe. Good luck. And I look forward to our next update.
Thanks, Robert. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Again, my name is Robert Kraft, host of SNN Network. We're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit, Beaver Creek, now going virtual. Kyle will be there. You're going to see this video there. And I thank you all for listening today.